Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Schizophrenia, the Fight of the Telepath, my special series devoted to telepathy and the dire problem of the schizophrenics, who are telepaths, who just don't understand who they are, what they are. And this, I think, might be the last one of my series, because I've come to the point where I've told you how your power works, pretty much. Or I've given you the bare minimum of how to deal with your situation. Now, if you want to get into more in depth, you'll have to go to the Pot Smoker's Bible and start at the beginning with my series and all of my series to get a better understanding of what I have to teach. But in my last episode, I was discussing emotional energy and how we use it in our telepathic communications and in our actualizations of reality. And that's what this final stage of my discussion is going to be about. Because we are telepathic, we use all of our senses, including our emotion senses. But we use all of our senses. And when we can learn to focus our mind, overcome the darkness that surrounds us, and focus on what we want, we can go through the processes of actualizing our desires into reality. Because we have the necessary tools to do that. We have our telepathic ability to project our thoughts, ideas, and will on outside of our own heads, which is what is the difference between a Neanderthal human who has not activated their green genomes and become telepathic, and you and me, the telepaths, the priests of the pre-flood age, the telepathic communicators between man and God, which is what we were created to do in the first place. That's why we were created. We were created through use of marijuana to activate our gray physiology and make us telepathic. But once we become telepathic, then we are literally connected to everything. All of reality is based on an energy field. And as a telepath, we communicate on this frequency, in this energy field. And this energy field is the matrix upon which all reality is created. It's the force, so to speak, the energy of reality. Now, on this energy plane where we speak and live, it's underneath everything that we see, feel, touch, everything we experience is overlaid with solidness, I guess you could say. But everything that is actualized in a physical form and in an event begins with the thought. Before the wheel was invented, somebody noticed that a round rock went farther than a square one, and the concept of the round wheel was born. He gave birth to the thought of the wheel. Then he communicated that thought into action. Now, he took a tool and rounded out the rough edges of that round rock, making it smoother and capable of rolling. And then he was like, well, maybe if I put a hole in a stick in it, then it would solidify it, and then I could put something on it, and the cart became. But it all functioned from that initial thought. I call it a thought form. And once you realize that your thoughts become your reality, then you realize that every negative thought that you have increases the probability of a negative outcome in your life. So you create a positive outlook. I'm not saying be happy, don't worry, everything will be fine. No. I'm saying that if you have that positive thought to counter that negative thought, you've got a 50-50 chance of having a good outcome as well as a bad outcome. If you're always thinking the bad outcome, eventually you're going to get it. But if you're always opposing that bad outcome, reality itself will get into the habit of giving you that good outcome because you're expecting it. You're actualizing it by willing it into being with your thought forms. So if I have a negative thought, I counter it with a positive thought and reinforce it with my willpower. And that's how you create reality. Now, you do that on a daily basis with every decision you make. Because every decision you make changes your reality moment by moment. Are you going to make that phone call? Are you not going to make that phone call? Are you going to buy that dress? Are you not going to buy that dress? And what are going to be the varying outcomes to each of those scenarios? This is how reality is created. And our willing a particular outcome helps us to navigate reality into the reality that we want it to be in. And that is the true power of a telepath. Because we can will, through telepathic means, our desires into reality. Look at Trump. Look at what Trump has done. He did all of that through his willpower. He's a dumb fucking idiot that could have gone. God, it would have been so bad if he was half of as intelligent as he thinks he is. We'd have been in a lot of trouble with Trump. So at the risk of creating monsters by empowering telepaths, I'm doing this episode because it's more important for me that the world have a few more good telepaths to counter the bad telepaths. And that's why I'm doing this. To end the pain and suffering of the telepath schizophrenic. And doctors, please, I'm not taking it. Okay, I believe that you only have half the story, but that's my beliefs. I'm not telling anybody to take off to not do their meds or not follow your advice, because for the most part you have it right. You follow the right guides. You just didn't explore it further and create for yourself a complete scream therapy because you don't have the whole picture. You believe that those voices aren't real, but I know for a fact that they're real. Because once I realized that they were real, I began to differentiate one voice from another. Now, I can't tell you what's attached to those voices because I'm blind inside, which is a totally different story. But, what I still do know how to project imagery and to make my reality come real. That much of a sight I do have. It's just some higher functions that I'm still limited by because I'm not healed completely either. But that's got nothing to do with. It really doesn't have anything to do with my telepathy. It's because I was subjected to some really bad shit when I was a kid. And some wounds become scars, and scars sometimes cause problems. But anyway, for the intents and purposes of the telepath, who is a schizophrenic, the knowledge that you have a thread of sanity left in you is all it really takes. Because that one thread of sanity can lead you back to a healing place. And if you follow your doctor's directions and you do the social psychologist thing. And add to it this. Together, the three of, the two of you, with the knowledge I've given you, can negotiate this path of schizophrenia to get you to a place where you accept your new reality and know how to keep safe. Positive for negative. It's like for every negative thought you receive, put a positive thought behind it. Learn how to focus your mind, learn how to meditate, learn how to use mantras in order to focus your thoughts and focus your emotions. Don't be afraid to face those horrific moments that kill you inside. Because until you face them, they will kill you inside. Believe me, I know. I had to face every one of my horrific, terrible childhood memories. But the more of those memories that I faced and vanquished and understood and expressed, the happier I became. I went from crying every single time I was alone to only crying when it's part of my life. If I think about the guy that I loved and lost and seemingly will never have again, it makes me cry. Because he was the love of my life and his loss will always and forever bother me. That's the healing that won't happen. Because you can't heal from a soulmate loss like that. He rejected me and that's fine because that's his life, not mine. It's not in my hands. But for everything that is in my hands, I have dealt with. I've faced that pain. I've overcome that fear. I've walked that terrible path of darkness that you're in. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Telepathy can be the most beautiful gift that God gives you in order to overcome that horrific, terrible thing that happened to you. So, don't be afraid to heal, because the healing is the true way to go from schizophrenic to telepath. And I guess that's really what this program is in actuality about. Going from that broken, fractured soul who is bombarded by darkness to a beautiful soul healed by the process of psychology and scream therapy. The actualizing of your emotional state, the expression of your emotions. So I'm trying to give you the tools that I was given by my higher power to heal from horrific childhood trauma. And if I can overcome my schizophrenia, it was undiagnosed, but if you're as half as telepathic as I am, then I'm definitely half as schizophrenic as you are. So, as a fellow schizophrenic who is a functioning telepath, capable of having a full-time job and a YouTube channel, writing 2 books, and looking forward to a beautiful future of my very own choosing, with only the voices that I choose to hear in my head, and those voices always good and light. You too can find your way from this scary, terrible place that you're in to a new future that is full of possibilities, that is full of unimagined adventures, and a future that is yours to choose. Take charge of yourself. You are a beautiful soul, hurt beyond belief, ready to heal, with good voices there to be called upon if you call upon them. So when the bad ones call on the good ones. Use your mantras, learn to meditate, learn to heal. Be whole, my friends. And and join me on the inside. My name is Zion. If you listen, you just might hear me on the telepathic plane, because I do talk on the plane. So, love you. Later.